Hi, I'm Richard Dean Anderson. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year. Please be safe and don't drink and drive.
And now it's time for another special feature.
The next person that says Merry Christmas to me, I'll kill him.
Tonight, my dear Pinky, our plan is unfurled. We'll steal Santa's sleigh and take over the world.
Hi, Mr. Krabs. Are you ready for Christmas?
What, Christmas is my favorite time of the year. After all, 'tis the season of getting.
Don't you mean the season of giving?
Exactly. The more you give, the more I get.
Why does everyone give me fruitcake for Christmas? I hate fruitcake.
David, could you try being a little more positive? I hope we die quickly.
You must be crazy. When are you going to stop believing in something that isn't true?
When you stop believing in that fellow with the red suit and the white beard who goes ho, ho, ho.
We are obviously separated by denominational differences.
What'd you do?
What?
What did you do?
We got you Kevin Bacon as a present?
You got me a human being as a present.
What better gift for the guy who has everything than an actual human living person?
This isn't a Christmas gift. This is human trafficking.
Hey guys, welcome out to ThisWeekInGeek.net's annual holiday gift guide. It is the month of December. We have just a couple of shopping days left before the big day arrives, if that's something that you celebrate, but it's usually the annual tradition of giving your loved ones something pretty cool for their just being in your lives and just being typically a good person. I am one of your hosts today. I am the jolly Mike the Birdman, but I'm joined by my other jolly corpulent co-host.
That's a nice way of calling me
same as me, right?
That's right, Alex, the producer here.
Big boat and big ass, right?
Well, I mean, that's what the ladies tell me.
Good time. So yes, guys, we are here on the TWIG annual holiday gift guide. We have done these traditionally. Oh man, I want to say we've done these for over 10 years. And it has been a wonderful opportunity to have a chance to do each of these every year, mostly because we get so many wonderful products throughout the year through so many companies that support us through one way or another. And in fact, just to kind of preface this, we're going to have another smaller holiday gift guide, sort of a bonus turtle treasure that'll be coming out next week. Simply because me and Alex looked at the pile of stuff and went, oh God, even Santa's elves don't work this much overtime.
Literally, as we record, a couple of items on both sides of us came in within 24 to 48 hours of before we had our big video game coverage for the Game Awards and this recording, and it just simply wasn't enough time to give them the proper dues that they deserve to give a proper checkout of them, and that this way we can have a few extra days. And for the most part, these are going to be things that you can pick up online and still get before Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. Like most of the things that'll be available next week, you can either pick up digitally. In my case, it's a lot of role-playing games, so you can get a lot of these via digital PDF, but you can also get the physical books either via Amazon or the publisher's websites. But some of these things, like Alex was just saying, you can just walk in the Walmart and grab or wherever. So yeah, we have a lot of...
I should probably say yes and not just nod my head, because yes, in living color, we're together.
Oh yeah, and this is, again, because we're actually doing our Christmas after we're done recording this, and then I have to go to another Christmas party tonight, and I've got another Christmas party tomorrow. I might get a chance to sleep at the beginning of next week, but even we have records to do on a game we just got literally day of, which is something I hope we can recommend because it looks really cool. Actually, me and Alex, just before we started recording, we watched the first 5 minutes of the new Avatar game, which looks, honestly, really kind of kick-ass, and I immediately went, oh, this will be an interesting story, and I'm going to leave it at that. So, that all being said... So all these products we've had a chance to check out, we've had a really good first impression of, or we have done reviews of them over the course of the year here on the show, either via Alex or myself, or these are products that we can definitely get behind to recommend to you and your family this particular holiday season. So without any further ado, it is time to kick it over to my producer, my best friend, my brother. Alex, what do you got for us on your holiday gift guide this year?
Well, this year, compared to previous years, is a little different. in that a lot of these items I've already reviewed in the last few weeks in the show leading up to this. So I'll probably get you to reference, if you want more in-depth review coverage, the previous episodes if you need to, but there are obviously going to be links in either the website's description for this episode, or I might end up putting a document together, because there's going to be a lot of links, and in some cases it might not be easy to navigate through everything scrolling on your phone directly, but you'll have a file you can just sort of grab from, almost like a wish list yourself. We did that last year, actually, when we had a lot to talk about. So this year I've sort of divided it into two different categories for myself. One is products that are media related, and then ones that are media related. So the physical, items that you can pick up that are non-media related, I'm going to mention some of those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles toys that I reviewed earlier in the year.
Who exactly made those?
Those were from Funrise.
And those were the RC ones, right?
Yes, the RC ones, built for the Mutant Mayhem tie-in.
Oh, yeah. And it's cool to see a different type of licensee take the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles license, because for a long time we used to deal with Playmates here on the show. I haven't chosen to review a lot of those toys simply because I don't have room, but you do.
I do, and I have family members that are of the right age, and in looking at the toys, what's interesting about them, they, to me, look and feel more like the toys that I grew up with in the 80s and 90s. The way the sculpt and the colors and everything, it feels like that, obviously with a little more detail, because it's how toys have gone now. But it doesn't have the look that a lot of toys have now. It has almost a retro look.
Yeah, and just the fact that not every toy we review on this show has to be collector focused.
Yes, that was the reason. Generally, when you review stuff, it's part of your collection, or something more like it can be for all ages. And I went when we were offered, hey, you want to check these out? I said, you know what? We don't really review a lot of stuff that is specifically made to be played with as kids, and they're robust. They're not going to break easily.
And there's no parts to lose, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. And if you're a kid that's like ages 5 and up, you're going to love it. So this is probably one of the first, if only, toy reviews I've done.
yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
So
actually,
we covered a bunch of them. So if you look back, just type in TMNT if you really want to listen to our previous coverage of it. But we'll have links in the show here for it. Moving on from there, I did cover a couple board games from Asmodee Games. There was one called The Number and Spellbook. And we're always looking for different types of games, because we do a lot of RPGs here.
Yeah.
And I'm also always looking for things that are either pick up and play that you can do with family or young kids, and something that you can pick up and play for like 10 to 15 minutes. And there's been a few other games that we've received from Asmodee as well that are in this realm. Now, we've had some higher end stuff like
Gale Force 9 stuff.
Gale Force 9, or even some miniatures games from Asmodee that most recently talked about the licensed properties from Marvel and Star Wars, where you can paint your miniatures and run a game that way. So that is going to be a little more involved. But if you're looking for quick and easy 10 to 15 minute games that you don't have to worry about having a ton of reading or math comprehension for, both of these would be perfect for you. Now, going on from board games, we've also got more high-tech things that are like, hey, maybe you need something for this is for the adult or parent in your life, or for yourself, and that is the NextBase dashcam lines. Now, they are better than a lot of the Chinese brands that you find out there. Like, when you go on Amazon and you search up dashcam, you're going to get a bazillion companies with names like Zillasoft, and it'll be like 7 consonants in a row or more. And they're just like cookie cutter companies where they all rebadge the same stuff, and it's all low quality stuff that is going to wear out after like 6 months of use. And then if you look at some of the big name brands that are out there in the public space, they're going to spend an arm and a leg on. Where NextBase is a company based in Canada that's making high quality dash cams and rear cameras at much more reasonable rates. So that's something, if you're looking for something for your car, they have a range of stuff anywhere from $100 to like $400, depending on the quality that you want, and if you want things wired, wireless, and so on.
Yeah, and it's also important to mention to have a dash cam, especially nowadays with insurance rates going up the way they are. I know in Canada, insurance rates can vary province to province, even city to city. Having that extra thing built in as an insurance claim can certainly help you. I know several people who've had we'll say traffic incidents in their driving career could have definitely benefited from a dash cam saying, oh, well, this happened, this didn't happen. And when you can hand that over to the insurance company or to law enforcement, it's definitely helpful. And, you know, it's just one of those items that has unfortunately become a necessity in 2023. So, having a dash cam,
let's be
recommended.
Real. A lot of people, when you get a new car, it generally has something. It's pretty much every new car does. But most people really can't, in this economy, afford new cars.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you've got a car that doesn't have one, you want to put something in that you can rely on. That you're not going to, if you happen to be in an accident, that you're not going to go, here, officer, and then go, oh, crap, it stopped recording partway through.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to make sure we mentioned that there. The next item I want to mention is the Tineco Floor 1 S5 Extreme. That's the vacuum I talked about just a few days ago. It was one of the last things that came in just before we sort of had our deadline cut for coverage, and I've had a chance to check it out. It's a wet dry vac, meaning you can use it with a cleaning solution to mop floors and then vacuum, but also do both at the same time, and it can separate them. It's actually really neat. High tech, lots of cool features. It is one of the larger ticket items that you're going to see from our guide here, but it's something that if you've in the market for getting a new vacuum, or you're even in some cases planning on gifts for people, I got to tell the cat to stop pressing buttons.
And he won't.
Beaker, stop pressing things. Stop playing with the mouse. If you hear that, that is a cat playing with the digital mouse.
Yep, that is Beaker doing cat thing. So
yes, so
we're just gonna live with it.
We're gonna live with it, and you're gonna live with it. He's a mascot in the background.
Pretty much, yep.
I have given up trying. Boy, stop. Anyway, yes, it might even that vacuum might even be able to suck up that mouse. So you behave, or that's gonna go away, buddy. Also, there's the Blacklyte Athena chair. That is the computer gaming chair that we reviewed a little earlier on the program, I guess about 3 or 4 weeks ago now.
And you had a chance to look at different versions of this, did you not?
I had a prototype initially.
That's really cool. I've never heard of a company doing that for us. Or at least if they do, extremely rare.
So, yeah, like what it was is my version didn't have the same wheelbase on it. They're going to have locks on the wheels that are a little different. Mostly the same design. It's just wasn't going to be the exact finished product. But compared to a lot of other of those computer chairs, if you notice, when you get one of those name brand, popular, I don't want to necessarily name the brands in this, but, the really popular brands of gaming chairs, they're only rated for 200 pounds. And then after that, the warranty's up. These are rated for 300 pounds. So if you're a little bit heavier set person, they're good for that use. But beyond that, they're just well made. They just have a really good quality to them. Tons of articulation where you can lift the armrests up and down, tilt them left and right, shift them in and out, forward and back. So you never have to worry about your arm positions being in an awkward position. Plus you can tilt back. I will say the only thing that was different in mine than what was in the retail final version was with the wheels having proper locks on them, because they're like rollerblade wheels, like they're rubberized bottoms, so they glide super quiet. In the final version, you have locks on those wheels. You wouldn't want to tilt the chair back without the locks on.
Yeah, just in case.
So for my prototype version, and for anybody that has the final version, lock the wheels. Because otherwise you'll lean back and it'll change your center of gravity and you might shift out from beneath you. And it will say that in the instructions too. Because when we were testing it at home, I had my brother and my father come over and check it out. And they're like, hey, we can tilt the chair back. And they tilted it back and it started wheeling out. We had to hold it. And then we read the instructions and it says, please lock the wheels. But because I had the prototype version in it. So it's just funny little things, but very well put together, very well made chair. And it's good to see another company entering the market, and again, Canadian company.
Yeah, because I think the last time we looked at a gaming chair, this was definitely 7 or 8 years ago, when I looked at a DX Racer chair. Again, fine for people of a smaller frame, but for someone of my size and your size, this is definitely something a little bit easier. While this chair is not necessarily rated for our size, it works.
It's not a big and tall chair, but it's rated for a larger size than what the standard is.
Yeah, and that's something to definitely keep in mind. It's going to be more comfortable for longer gaming sessions. A friend of mine who's a very popular Twitch streamer. She suffers from restless leg syndrome now. I'm almost positive of it. I could see a chair like this definitely being able to alleviate some of that. So definitely something to keep in mind as you look for your gaming needs in 2024.
Yeah, I want to talk next, keeping it rolling with the gaming theme here. I have the PDP Afterglow Wave controller and some of the other PDP products that they have these newer controllers out where they have like these resin characters inside of the controller see-through. There's like Sonic the Hedgehog and amongst others where it's like toys embedded within the controller. And they've for years had pretty good quality control for third-party controllers out there.
Especially for like Switch controllers, right?
Yes. And that's the thing with the Wave controller. You're a big fan of RGB.
Oh, yeah.
It has RGB.
I mean, look at my desk right now.
Yes,
it glows.
It's RR. Yes, if you were here, you'd see it's glowing. It has the options to have RGB lights on and off, flashing patterns, all that stuff. A controllable app from your computer. And a big deal amongst third-party controllers is that it allows for firmware updates.
Oh,
where
I love
most third-party controllers don't do that. You get it once, and it works.
One and done.
That's usually something that we see mostly reserved for first-party controllers for companies. Well, not with PDP. I received the controller, plugged it into the computer to check out the application for changing the lighting on it to see if I could make it brighter or less bright. And first thing it said was, "Hey, there's a firmware update. Would you like to update now?" And I went, "Heck yeah,
that's cool.
That's always nice." So they've had a pretty good line of products recently, and I also checked out. They have a new Xbox Series controller, like a remote control for media.
Mm-hmm.
You know how they're all RF related.
Yeah.
But it was thin with a rechargeable USB-C powered battery.
Oh, I need
so
this.
You don't have to replace batteries. It's very thin. The only thing about it was you might want to get a grip for it. You can get things or something because if you're leaving it on your bed or on a chair beside you, it might slip out of your hands.
Mm-hmm.
But the cool thing is on the back of it, it has a solar cell. You can charge it by just leaving it in your windowsill.
Okay, that's really convenient.
So you don't need to worry about plugging in the USB. It will just charge, and it lights up. And when you pick it up, it lights up like a first-party controller does. So pretty neat. I just want to make sure that I mentioned that and put that on there as well because there's been some neat products from them this year. And then as far as physical products go, I've been reviewing a bunch of stuff from Kensington. You know, the company that traditionally was known for making locks for laptops and business accessories. Well, they sent a bunch of different products for back to school and then again for the Christmas gift guide. And I've checked out stuff like their wireless keyboards that are USB chargeable. I have what I'm using actually in my bedroom for when I check out media on my computer or laptop is, you know how hard it is to use a mouse on a surface like a bed or something that isn't a solid surface that is easily read, even with an optical mouse. Well, I got a trackball one, but not the. You remember the traditional trackballs where it's just the trackball is all it is. This is like a regular ergonomic mouse, and I mentioned it earlier on the show a couple weeks back when I reviewed it. But instead of moving it around, it stays stationary, but has the ergonomic regular mouse. It has regular mouse buttons and the regular placements you're used to. The difference is where the thumb is a trackball to move around on the screen. So you don't have to worry about having an uneven surface or anything. It has an optical trackball mouse, and then regular scroll wheels and button clicks.
Yeah, I'm just trying to visualize this. That's interesting.
It took a little bit to get. You're not going to game on it. I'll tell you right now. You're not gaming with that. I mean, you could game if you're playing a game that has like a bowling game or something, or Missile Command or something like that.
Could you StarCraft on this, maybe?
Yes.
That's really cool.
You could do RTSs. You wouldn't be doing first-person shooters.
Yeah, I bet I don't want to play COD on
I used to play a first-person shooter with a trackball mouse with the big ball, and I used to use my palm to roll it. But that's like 20 years ago. But this is going to be good for productivity in that where you have a limited space. If you have a small desk where you don't have a lot of room for a mouse pad, or you want to use it on any surface because it's using a trackball, you can do it that way. So that's something to consider, and I'll put a link to that and maybe a couple of the other mouse and keyboard related items that they have just so you can sort of complete your setup. Or there's even stocking stuffers. They have Bluetooth mice that also have the wireless dongle, so you can go with either RF or with Bluetooth, which is always nice to have. And a lot of more products now from these companies like Kensington are coming with built-in batteries that use USB-C to charge. It took many years for companies to switch over to USB-C, but it's so much better when you only have one cable for everything.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there were some other physical products that we checked out that I'll put links to. Like there was an advent calendar that was based on the little machines, like the little, that's the brand, Little Machines, where it's like the construction set stuff. But now that we're getting farther into the month, you could pick it up, but then you're going to have to open a bunch of the windows ahead of time. But
hey, there you go. It's
so you could do it that way. Same with this is few things came in last minute. Squishimals. You are a fan of those, right?
Oh yeah, I love stuffed animals.
A couple of them came in, but literally came in yesterday.
Yeah.
So I've had a chance to look at them. If you like stuffed animals and you want the softest stuffed animal, it's almost like a memory foam pillow. That's what these are. I'll put links in the description. There's not much you can review on them other than they're super soft and they're good for anybody.
Are they licensed?
Yes, the Squishmallows is the brand.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because like I know, for example, I like the Pokemon Squishmallows.
Oh, okay. So this is Squishmallows, the brand.
Okay.
And then the other one they have is Adopt Me, where it's like...
Oh, I think I've seen those in like Walmart and places like that.
Yeah, so they're in every retail store, and they had, here's some new ones to check out. I'll put links to them in the show. I don't know what more of a review I can give other than they're super soft and you can use them as a pillow if you wanted to. But they're always great for stocking stuffers or an extra gift. And you don't have to worry about small pieces, like a little kid isn't going to chew up on an eyeball and choke on it or something.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they might make good gifts for pets. If you've got a dog that has a dog bed, maybe you give a Squishable, stuffed dog as a pillow.
Yeah, especially if the dog or the animal is particularly well behaved. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
Obviously, you don't. Same with your children. If your children aren't well behaved and they're tearing it apart with their mouth, maybe don't give it to them.
Yeah. So if you have a bull mastiff that likes to eat things, probably not a good idea.
But if you have a pit bull named Princess, she's probably very, very nice, and you can give it to her.
Probably.
Now, outside of that, that's the physical stuff I was talking about. The rest here are just a few game recommendations, and as far as movies go, we've talked about plenty of movies throughout the year. I don't have anything in particular that I'm going to mention other than if you're looking for some of the Star Trek stuff that we've covered, because there's been a lot of cool Star Trek sets, maybe look for some of those. There wasn't anything recently in my mind beyond the stuff that Paramount sent us.
Maybe Star Trek Prodigy might be worth mentioning.
See, a lot of these things, there hasn't been anything that was like standout crazy except for some of the Star Trek stuff in my mind from my list that I wanted to talk about. Some of the other stuff in previous years, I've had a bunch of other products. This has been kind of a slow year beyond that for me, for what I've reviewed coming in. So I actually have some stuff that's come in that came in after our deadline for recording, so I'm going to recommend them probably after I check them out and do a review, which will come on our mini show that we put out later on this week.
Yeah.
But as of now, no movies for me on my list this time, but you're going to have some. But gaming wise, I do have a few recommendations.
All right.
One is Final Fantasy XVI, mostly because it was at one point my game of the year, and then of course this is a year of amazing games that came out. So I wanted to mention it because I think that it did well, but it might be overshadowed slightly. It did win Best Soundtrack of the Year at the Game Awards, and as of this recording, 24 hours ago, the first expansion came out for it. So you might want to check that out. It's time to jump in if you haven't already picked it up, and if you are somebody who is waiting, now might be a good time because first expansion is coming. There's a second expansion coming in the spring. There is, at least on the PlayStation Store, when I saw a bit of a discount if you purchase the expansion pass now. So you can pick up the game at retail and then maybe pick up the expansion. Outside of that, Baldur's Gate 3, which was the game of the year at the Game Awards this year.
And just shadow dropped on Xbox.
And shadow dropped on Xbox at the same time. And if you want to get a physical copy, you have to order from their website, but they give you everything on discs. You don't even have to connect to the internet to play it. It just downloads and copies from the discs to work. If you're going with it digitally, I played it on PlayStation. It is something that until recently worked best on PC. I encountered some issues initially at launch because they were taking such a huge game and trying to port it to a console. Now there's been patches.
Yeah, and now there's great accessibility patches for it.
Yes, it's like 20 gigs of patches. So to get some of this extra stuff, you do have to download a bit, but they've added epilogues to the story, altered the way some of the characters interact with each other, done significant improvements to any little tiny glitches that some of the missions might have, and the graphics, especially on console. So it truly is the game of the year. So if you're somebody who slept on it, maybe now is the time to check it out. I want to give shout outs to Sonic Origins Plus and Sonic Superstars from Sega. If you're looking for some family-based games that aren't from the plumber, these are probably two of the best you can go with, because the Sonic Origins Plus is not a full retail price game, but you get a ton of the retro games enhanced for widescreen with trophies and all that fun stuff. And it's a good 1-2 punch to purchase with Sonic Superstars, because you get roughly, for depending on if you're on sale or not, for about $100, you can get the newest Sonic game with a collection of all the classics. So if you're somebody who has kids that are maybe being introduced to Sonic for the first time and you didn't show them Sonic Mania a few years ago, Sonic Superstars, if they like that, then you go, hey, here's the stuff that mom or dad used to play.
Yep.
And then you got a collection of all the classic stuff. So that's pretty cool. Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. Obviously, if you haven't purchased it yet and you're somebody who's a big Zelda fan, I don't even know if I need to say anything more than this is probably the time to buy it.
Yeah, it's Zelda. What more can you really say?
And I wanted to mention that at the Game Awards, it won Best Action Adventure Game of the Year, which was really no surprise to anybody. Yeah. Like a Dragon, Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, which is one of my most recent reviews in the show. It was nominated for some things at other award shows. It was past the deadline for others. It is a fun, action-based, in the Yakuza world. I just want to mention, too, that it just had a drop with the English dub. So it's a free download. It didn't launch with it initially, but it's now available to download for free with it. So if you're somebody who might have been on the fence because it didn't have a dub and you're not somebody who likes to read a lot of Japanese, translated text, now that's available for anybody to download if you purchase the game. And that's pretty much it. There's plenty of other games I could mention. If you find them on sale, I would say, and you're a fan of JRPGs, it's probably worth checking out some of the stuff that came out earlier in the year or even very, very late last year that was past our deadline.
You said Sea of Stars was really...
Sea of Stars is good. If you're looking for something digital, put that on, buy somebody a gift card and they can purchase it themselves. It might be, I don't think it has a physical release yet, but it might be something that does because it just won Indie Game of the Year. And I would say another one is Octopath Traveler 2, which was released really early in the year.
Like February.
And it was not nominated for an RPG. I was kind of surprised. A lot of stuff that comes out, unless it's a huge title, in January, February, March, gets forgotten when it comes to the Game of the Year stuff.
I think the earliest title we saw nominated was Resident Evil 4. And that was like May, June.
Exactly. So, something to consider there. And the other one I'm going to mention that I didn't think got enough love at the Game Awards and from a lot of people was Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Yeah, that game was honestly a nice return to form for the Assassin's Creed franchise. And we actually just did an extended review of it back in October when the game dropped. So if you want to follow the adventures of Basim and the Order of the Hidden Ones and all that, it's a surprisingly really, really good game. I love the Assassin's Creed franchise. I look forward to playing it each and every year. And again, being able to explore that part of the world. I've never seen ancient Baghdad before.
Well, and it was so tight and concise. Like there's like 10 of a certain thing to collect, not 100,000 things to collect. You get a sampling of what you get on a lot of open world games. That the biggest complaints people have had for these Ubisoft titles has
Collectathon.
been it's too much. I'm not getting enough out of the collecting. So this has a clear goal. There's like a secret area you can go to where you swim underneath, and when you get there, if you collect certain things, you can unlock certain rooms with special gear. Well, guess what? You only have to unlock the 3 rooms. There's not like another 12 that you got to do later on.
Yeah.
It's just the right sampling, and on top of all this, it's tight and concise, has a good story, good acting. I had a good time with it, and it's not even a full price game. It is priced not at a discount price, but I believe it's $64.99. It's not the $79 or $89 price of the game. So it's something that you could buy with another game, even when it's not on sale, if you can't find a sale, that you're still going to get over the couple weeks of vacation you might have over the holidays. You can still get a good time with it. So that's pretty much it for me as far as anything that directly that I wanted to mention. There's probably more that I'm going to think of later on, and if that's the case, they're going to show up in our little our breaking news emergency review show in the middle of the week.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to stay tuned for that review show, that should be airing on December 20th. All right, so coming up for me, I got a lot of really interesting products this year. I was able to get a relationship with Razer. They are known for doing a lot of PC products, and this year certainly no different. So this year they sent me the Razer Seiren V2 Pro Razer USB microphone. For the price point, you are getting a fantastic USB-C microphone. It can do a lot of stuff that high-end mics can do. I see a lot of streamers use this. In fact, I was so impressed with this mic, I wanted to do a little gift giving of my own. And because I already have my own setup here, and audio guys will tell you this, once you have a setup, you're kind of married to it.
You're married to it unless it was your emergency backup that you have.
Yeah.
I've had that before where I'm married to my setup, except I also have a $25 emergency mic.
Yeah. So this microphone I gifted to JT, who is the host of Sunday Funnies, which will be returning in 2024, and he basically cried. So I'm...
Well, I would too when it's a product that's reviewed that well.
Yeah, and
and in this economy where everybody's having trouble, everybody can use a good gift.
Well, yeah, and like I said, Razer doesn't make a lot of bad stuff or stuff that doesn't go over well, at least with a certain section of the community, other than just that Razer kind of branding on it. The other thing that Razer sent me, and this is something you've seen me use if you watch me stream with the Game Heroes that I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, I use the Razer Kraken Kitty V2 BT, and it's a RGB cat headset. There's no other way to describe this thing.
Basically a headphone headset with cat ears on top.
Yeah, like it's phenomenal sounding. It can be used as a Bluetooth headset, and I've actually been out here in Guelph before the weather turned back in the middle of November. I saw a couple of kids walking around with these downtown. The only thing I don't like about this particular headset is I don't like using it as a Bluetooth headset for my phone, but when I'm using it at home in my computer setup, it's phenomenal.
Yeah, so sometimes certain headsets are better when they have more robust software like Windows or Mac to work with.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, when you're outside, audio quality just kind of being the way that it is.
Most people like earbuds when they're outside anyway. So and it's the kind of thing that a lot of these companies have solutions for.
Yeah, although that being said, the sound quality on these was pretty awesome when I was outside. But boy, howdy, did I get some looks.
Well, but isn't that what you're going for? That's on brand for you.
Yeah, I'm making a statement. That's for damn sure.
Now, what you needed to do is you needed to go buy a high school where you know they were going to have TikTok, and when kids are pointing and staring or maybe whispering, that's when you turn when the camera's on you and you just go meow and meow and give them a swat.
Oh yeah,
and then. That's what we need to do. That's how we can get there. We can get millions of more followers and millions more listeners. Is just be that viral guy.
Yeah, I'll give him the old razzle dazzle, as Bert Kreischer might say.
Razzle dazzle or meow meow. Yeah, just you could be that guy. You go out in public and when you go and order a coffee and they're like, "Would you like anything with that?" You go, "Cream, please." Meow meow.
So this next set of products was something that actually Blair wrote and reviewed for me, and we got these from our friends over at Ninja. We got the Ninja Foodie Power Mixer System, the Immersion Blixer and Hand Mixer combo, and she's literally been using this thing pretty much since the day we got it to make a lot of the Christmas baking, which, not even kidding, after this recording, I have to roll like 200 cookies. It's a...
Oh, boo-hoo.
I know. One for me, one for you. It's fantastic. And just the fact that it is so powerful is what really impresses me in such a well-priced package. Now, the other thing, this was the highlight for her. And honestly, she's like, okay, Mike, you don't have to get me anything else for Christmas. All right, you said it. We got the Ninja Creamy Ice Cream Maker, and this thing has been making waves on TikTok. It's mostly known in the bariatric community for making protein-friendly ice cream.
I've seen it in the weightlifting community.
Yeah.
People that are power lifters or bodybuilders, when they have their cheat day, they still don't want to cheat so bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that they can make their own and control how much sugar goes in their stuff.
Yeah, after the show here, I'm going to give you a creamy that Blair made, and I dare you to do the Pepsi challenge with this and a Wendy's Frosty. You cannot tell. Wow. It is phenomenal.
See, I've been hearing about it for weeks, and I'm just like,
bullshit.
I don't want to invite myself We have to find an excuse to when it would be appropriate so that I can get some free ice cream from you.
Yeah, like literally, I am impressed how much cool crap can be made with it. And if you're on Pinterest, TikTok, or Instagram, you will find tons of recipes. It is one of the best kitchen gadgets we have ever reviewed on this show. So Ninja has set the bar there. Moving on to the next piece of physical gear that I got. This was a life changer. Now, obviously, we live in the era of porch pirates. People do deliveries all the time, almost literally 24/7 with like Amazon.
Or in the case of me, my apartment building has 3 Airbnb units that are permanent Airbnb, where there's not the same people every day. So when you can trust your neighbors is one thing.
Yeah.
But when you don't know who your neighbors are going to be day to day.
Yeah. So TP-Link sent over this Tapo wire-free doorbell camera. The link will be on the website because it has like a model number that I don't specifically remember. But the cool thing about this is earlier this year, I reviewed a wireless camera system that I have mounted around my apartment to do the outside of the building. So when I integrated this wireless camera doorbell system, it literally connected to my TP-Link network software. I had this thing installed and on my door in less than 10 minutes. I was so impressed. Now, to give you a little bit of a hint into this, I can watch this camera from anywhere. It's wireless. I was able to talk to an Amazon delivery person who came to my door yesterday while I was out having dinner, and we had a two-way conversation while I was downtown. He's like, "Oh, hi," and he didn't expect to hear the doorbell talk to him. I'm like, "Hi, I'm not home right now. Can you leave this with my next-door neighbor? Don't worry, he's expecting you."
My brother has a similar thing where at his place, he owns a home, but a lot of times they don't drop things at doors in his neighborhood, even though it's a nicer neighborhood. And he's been out either at work or with him and his wife are both out. And he has basically, told a little fib and said, "Oh, I just can't get up from the basement just now. Leave it at the door and I'll come get it in 5 minutes." And that they'll count that as a release form. And then, he'll actually race home, but he wasn't home at all.
Yeah.
So people don't know. There's lots of ways you can do things with it.
Yeah, like honestly, doorbell cameras. And here's something else that I mentioned during my review, and I want to highlight this. It's kind of an accessibility feature as well. Because it has two-way communication, there's always the possibility something could happen to me. And if someone happens to be walking by it in the hallway, I can use the live two-way communication to say, "Hi, I've fallen. I need help."
I didn't even think of that, but you're right. You could get a notification on your phone. Somebody's walking by. "Please help. I'm on the ground. Please call 911."
Yeah, and it kind of sucks because some people will give the camera a bit of a dirty look, and that has happened with me and my building. But
old people that think the government's out to get them.
Yeah, I'm like, guys, I'm disabled. I'm an amputee. What more do you want? This is for my safety, and you and I get a lot of product at our door, and I've had some expensive stuff mysteriously walk.
I have a sign taped to my door for the last 6 years that I've been in this my apartment, that just says, I'm disabled, mobility disabled. It takes me longer to get to the door. Please knock hard, and if I'm not there within the time that it takes for you to wait for me, please leave it at the door or under the stairs, because I'm the only unit on that side of the building. I've had a few people, my neighbors, have picked up my mail for me and made sure that if they didn't read the instructions, they just left it somewhere else. But that has helped an immense amount of bit. But also, having a doorbell camera like that helps, because it also means that if they read the instructions, I can see when the delivery person shows up. I can sometimes see the notification, and I'll look on my phone, and it will show, and I can see them mouthing and reading the words of my instructions. And then if they choose not to leave it there, I can send that to the courier and say, "Look, I can see when they were reading it at the exact time, and they chose not to leave it."
Yeah. So now if anything decides to take a walk, didn't mention this in my review, but I'm going to mention it here. If someone decides to steal this doorbell camera, it has an alarm, and it'll freak out for 15 minutes. So go ahead and steal it. I can track it.
All right.
So anyway, next thing. These are some movies we got from our friends over at Paramount. There are more in-depth reviews on some of these, so I'm just going to rapid fire a couple of these. But I got Transformers Rise of the Beast. Big freaking surprise. But no, honestly, Transformers Rise of the Beast was probably one of the coolest movies I saw in theaters this year. One of the one of the best entries in the Transformers franchise so far, still set in the Bayverse adjacent. A sequel to Bumblebee set in the 1990s and features the Beast Wars characters. Did not expect it. Never thought I'd see Optimus Primal on the main screen. This was voiced by Ron Perlman, of all people, who did voice a character in Transformers Prime, I want to say. So yeah, that was just really freaking cool. A lot of special features on it. Really hope we get a sequel to this movie at some point. We'll wait and see. The next movie I want to talk about, you can stream this on Paramount Plus, but I'm going to recommend that you buy it because there's a lot of special features on it, and the movie looks so unique. I really think you should add it to your collection, especially if you have kids. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem. Did not expect this to be as much fun as it was.
And I saw people initially describing it, saying that, oh, it's like their version of Into the Spider-Verse. It's not. The art style, the best description I can give, what if street graffiti came to life?
Yeah, like it's such a unique arty look to it, and
it's like claymation stop motion graffiti.
Yeah, that's a really good way to actually like describe it. Like honestly, to see the TMNT franchise get such love, and recently the creators Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird were just honored in their hometown with a sewer lid on the main street of their home city.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm glad to see the TMNT franchise come back. I know you can get new comic books right now. I think The Last Ronin is being adapted into a video game or some kind of an animated feature or something.
Oh, it is. It is a. I think it's a mature rated video game.
Yeah, so that's going to be sick. So if you're in the TMNT, also finally, there's a Kickstarter for the RPG. I don't know if it's still going right now, but if you want to see TMNT and other strangeness, you can get that. The next one, it's a 4K port, but it's that time of year. And Scrooged. Who doesn't love the Bill Murray movie Scrooge?
Do you know what's crazy?
What?
I've never seen it.
Okay, it is frigging wild. So
maybe I'll have to check out the 4K transfer.
Yeah, like honestly, again, it's one of those Christmas classics I didn't like much as a kid, but now that I've gotten older, now that I've understood what some of the corporate world is like, I get a lot of the humor now.
Well, there are 3 movies of his that are immensely popular and of that era that I still in my life have never seen, and I don't know why I haven't. Can you guess which ones they are?
I'm gonna say Caddyshack.
No, I've seen that.
Stripes?
Seen that. They're from the late 80s, early 90s. I have not seen Scrooged.
Okay.
I have not seen What About Bob.
What About Bob's fun.
And I've never seen The Man Who Knew Too Little.
I've never seen that one either.
But what I did see was it Larger Than Life? I saw that in theaters. It's the one with him and the elephant.
Okay, weird.
I know, but it's like I've seen that, and it's like what? But it's like there's that gap period of the late '80s, early '90s where I've seen Groundhog Day 100,000 times because
I've only ever seen that movie once.
But yeah, Scrooge is one that I've always wanted to see, but every time for a long time I don't think it had a streaming platform.
No, and any versions that do pop up are not always great, and just the fact that a 4K transfer, especially with like kind of Paramount ones, you don't see a lot of bad transfers. You might get maybe some problems with some blacks here and there, but 9 times out of 10, it's fantastic. I recommend.
And we need more Christmas movies in ultra high def.
Yeah, like I know Warner Brothers did a bunch last year, and they looked phenomenal.
And it sounds like this year it's Paramount's turn.
Yeah, so awesome on them. So I got a couple of quick hits from our friends over at Hasbro. These guys have been wonderful in supporting us this past year, and I was just talking about this franchise. So the Transformers brand sent over Studio Series 106 Optimus Primal. And the best way to sum up this toy, it is the best version of Optimus Primal you can get outside of a masterpiece version of the toy, which will be over $100. I don't know from what engineering standpoint what more they can do. I watched a reviewer called Prime versus Prime, and I've done my own review of this toy. And I can't say I disagree with a lot of his points. Like, what more can you do other than change maybe some of the back kibble on his legs. The fact that it has the chain for his 2 swords. It has the Energon axe that you can use for SS-102 Optimus Prime, which is the Rise of the Beast version. So now you have a complete Beast Wars lineup, except for Studio Series Wheeljack that comes out in a couple of months.
Do they have Transmutate?
No, actually, no. Wait, they do. He was in the Kingdom lineup a couple of years ago.
Ouch, hurt.
But like, it's
don't watch that if you're already sad.
Although, get this, because you're gonna know what I'm talking about. In concept art, they had Protoform X. Rampage was supposed to be in Rise of the Beasts, which is friggin' awesome. But no, seriously.
Oh, that would be too dark. If they wanted to adapt it.
If they had him in Depth Charge locked in some death grip.
He lets Depth Charge kill him and laughs as he's being killed because he knows he's going to blow him up.
Oh, yeah. It's crazy, but...
Energon right through your twisted spark. Take it. That's so dark for a kid's show. My mom saw that when I was little. She goes, what are you watching? I'm like, Transformers. She goes, Transformers? She's like, he's just brutally murdering that one. And I said, oh, no, the other one's a serial killer. He kills children. And she's like... My question stands. What are you watching? I said Transformers.
That's right. I mean, ultimately, the Transformers brand this year in terms of engineering has stepped up. Like, SS-102 is fantastic. 106, Primal, amazing piece of kit. And honestly, it's a great way to bring the leader class line down. Scourge is another one to highlight this year. Battle Trap, if you can find it, is a really nice Voyager. And the final thing I'll say on the Transformers things, there are third-party brands that make accessory kits, and I think the company's called DNA Designs.
Oh, that's cool.
They'll give you pieces of armor or pieces of kit that you can swap out the arms or the head pieces so they look more screen accurate. So I can only imagine what's going to happen with 106 Primal, but I don't think there's too much more they can really do. The next thing, it's a twofer, and this is from the Star Wars Black Series line. And the 2 ones that I want to highlight are most recently from the Disney Plus series Ahsoka. There's the Ahsoka based on... Rosario Dawson's incarnation of the character, and Sabine Wren. Unfortunately, I don't remember the actress's name. Again, Star Wars Black Series, phenomenal facial sculpts, amazing range of articulation, amazing range of accessories. These are your Star Wars figures brought to life. These are definitely collector focused. They're 6 inches tall. They're basically in the same scale as Marvel Legends. I will always get anything Mandalorian. That's my collector focus. I'll only collect troopers, and I'll collect Mando. Maybe I'll do the odd Jedi character like Qui-Gon Jinn, maybe Luke or whoever. But no, the 2 highlights of I got 3 figures. I got Ahsoka, I got Sabine, and I got Luke. The Ahsoka characters are really, I think, the highlights so far of the line, because Ahsoka... You're going to get a season 2, especially after that ending. I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens with a further line. Like hopefully we'll get Thrawn. We'll get a good Ezra Bridger, those weird stormtrooper guys.
Did they do one for Ray Stevens' character?
I don't recall off the top of my head.
Because if they did, that's going to be in high demand.
Oh,
with him no longer with us.
Oh, yeah. And his little Sith... buddy there. Yeah, seriously, Star Wars Black Series doesn't make a lot of bad figures. I see the Sabine character particularly being in high demand. She was a very popular character on Rebels. She was pretty cool in Ahsoka. Rosario Dawson brought the character to life for a lot of people, so ultimately fantastic. So we're going to go through a couple of kind of gaming related things, kind of like how Alex said board gaming. There's one board game / card game that I want to talk about very briefly. This came from our friends over at Renegade Game Studios. Again, with the Transformers brand. I know, a big surprise. But this game is so wonderfully supported. There are so many accessory sets for it. The most recent one, this is for the Transformers deck building game, Clash of the Combiners. So you get characters like Superion, Computron, Menasor, Devastator, I think Abominus is in there, Monstructor. Like, you're getting all these characters, and you're also getting like other expansions. Like, there's ones based on the Dinobots. There's a Decepticon based one. It's one of those deck games where like you play as like a central character, like maybe like, I don't know, Optimus, Jazz, Wheeljack, whoever. But there's other characters you can play as, I think like Thrust, if I want to say, who's a Decepticon. And there's like schemes and everything. It's a complicated game to learn at first, but once you get the rhythm down, it's really neat. There's like options to convert, to travel around the map, to transform. You can sniper people. It's cool. I'm going to be running this at a convention in a couple of months at GriffCon here in Guelph when that happens in April. So seriously, if you get the base set, the newest expansion is called Clash of the Combiners. It's really friggin' sick. I really recommend it. Renegade Game Studios has been one of the studios that supports its licensed IPs the best. From Power Rangers to G.I. Joe, I've done multiple reviews of their stuff this year. I might cover another one of their things for the gift guide next week. But seriously,
and
Renegade...
They also have the Pony license too, right?
Yes, they do. And again, to have all the Hasbro licenses under one umbrella, under one system, it runs beautifully.
And there was that book of how to
cross everything over. Yeah, I was going to put that in this gift guide, but I'm just going to say, refer back to my earlier coverage for that. First off, making the intro to that episode was really friggin' fun.
So yes, just basically, if you need to search for it, just go to on our website. You can just search for Renegade, and it'll pop up basically everything that we've covered with them in the last few months.
Yeah, and then the next thing that I want to talk about is some Dungeons and Dragons. One thing is D&D, one thing is D&D adjacent. So earlier this year, I think in October, Wizards of the Coast released the Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse sort of thing. It's like a Planescape box set, and for those of you that don't know what kind of Planescape is, it's sort of the multiverse for D&D. So going to the City of Sigil in the Outer Planes, the Lady of Pain, you get multiple books, you get a GM screen. If you ever wanted to take your adventures off of Faerun or Eberron or Ravenloft, this is the world where you have to go. And this is something I'm very sneakily trying to integrate into my private D&D game I play with my friends B and Paul. I actually wrote something into my character's backstory right now. This is something he doesn't know I'm telling you. So, you're never going to listen to this, Paul. I wrote Sigil in, so you have to use this because I really want to see what happens when we go to the multiverse. Because, like, again, it's so sick. I'm so happy that 5th edition has done this. And there's going to be another thing we're going to review for D&D next week. But seriously, almost every D&D release has got something wonderful. I know I reviewed Bigby's Book of Giants earlier this year. I really enjoyed that. There's the Deck of Many Things. We're still waiting on our copies of that. There was a problem at the warehouse. So hopefully I'll have that early next year whenever that comes in. So that's awesome.
And let's be honest, a lot of companies, it's not just them, not just us. Logistics has been weird the last couple of years.
Yeah, it has not been normal.
So that's part of the reason why we're having this. This is the main one. We're going to have a catch-up review on some of the stuff that had to come in later due to no fault of us or the companies.
Yeah, it's just the world being the way it is. And then finally, for the RPG stuff that I want to recommend, and I'm just going to recommend the entire product line, and here's why. I interviewed one of the developers, Siegfried Trent, on the inaugural episode of Bots Roll. You're going to hear a couple more over the next couple of weeks, because I still have to edit like 2 of them, but you'll hear them soon. And they did Everyday Heroes, which is a D&D 5th edition based game that's basically the newest incarnation of D&D Modern. But the reason I'm recommending it is because of the cinematic scenarios. They have ones based on Universal Soldier that I just got, which basically you could have Unisalt versus RoboCop.
Dude.
Oh my God. I sat down with the rules with it a couple of days ago and I started reading and I'm about to say, I could make RoboCop in this really easy.
You know what? I would merge it with?
What?
Terminator. And you know why?
Yeah.
Because the original movie trailer and some of the music from the original Unisol was using
the Brad Fidel Terminator theme, right?
Yes. When the T2 is when the T1000 is chasing him.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Where it's like didn't land that.
And then Dolph Lundgren's like, "Are we having fun yet?" Yes, I know exactly the trailer you mean.
They reused some, and it wasn't like they just unlicensed it. No, they licensed some of the same songs for Unisoul a year later.
That's sick. They also have one based on The Crow. They got one based on Highlander, Kong Skull Island. Rambo just came out. Like, seriously, I am so impressed. They got a Pacific Rim one. So if you wanted to literally live your Godzilla mecha fantasies right now, this RPG makes it functionally possible. Okay, last stuff for me. It's a bunch of video games, and I'm going to end on a real banger here. RoboCop Rogue City.
Yeah.
What more can I goddamn say about this game? If my game of the year wasn't Spider-Man 2, let's be real here, I'm a dork, RoboCop would definitely be number 2. And it is...
RoboCop is your indie game of the year.
Yeah.
Because when we say indie, we don't mean that everything has to be pixel art, small company. Indie is anybody that's not one of the major publishers. And Nacon publishes it, but Nacon is not,
Ubisoft or Konami.
Ubisoft or Sony.
Yeah.
They're a AA publisher.
Yeah, and honestly, these guys did the Terminator Resistance game a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
that's the best.
Teon developed it, and I think they self-published that one. And because that was so successful, Nacon said, "Hey, we'll publish this one for you."
Yeah, like honestly, RoboCop Rogue City. If you love this franchise, this game takes place between RoboCop 2 and 3. It's probably not canon, but it might as well be. It's phenomenal. I was so impressed with it.
They brought back the principal actors.
Yeah,
they somehow. I mean, for the most part, Peter Weller's in retirement. Not retired, but he will occasionally pop up in things.
Yeah.
But he's getting his doctorate, or already has it in fine arts. Like he's
teaching at some university somewhere.
You know what I mean? Like for them to get him back, and you could save money. This wasn't like Sony dumped a dump truck of money in front of him. This was a smaller company. He obviously liked what they presented him.
Yeah, like this is the best RoboCop thing we've gotten in years, because we're not counting the 2014 remake. It's phenomenal. The next game that I want to talk about, because I want Volume 2 in the worst frigging way, Metal Gear Solid Volume 1. This is the Master Collection on PlayStation 5, not the Switch version. You're getting the ports that came out back in the PlayStation 3 era, and that's not a bad thing. You're also getting additional graphic novels that were only released on the PlayStation Portable, I want to say. They are voiced in Japanese. That's fine. You're getting Metal Gear. You're getting Metal Gear Solid, Snake's Revenge. You're getting a lot of supplemental material here. If you're a Metal Gear fanatic, this is the best way to catch up on the franchise. Now, the only game you're not getting is Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. I'm literally crossing my Twin Snakes, hoping this eventually comes to. I would pay $90 for that alone, honestly. Let's be real here. But no, it's great to be able to replay these games. We're going to get Metal Gear Solid 3 Delta in a couple of years, whenever that comes out on PlayStation 5. I'm so glad this is happening. And even David Hayter, the voice of Solid Snake, he's been teasing stuff on Twitter over the last couple of weeks. So I'm really hoping this sells well. But ultimately, I love this collection for what it is. Please check out Metal Gear Solid, the Master Collection. It has never been more relevant than it is today. Mortal Kombat 1, Alex. What can I say about this? Really?
It's Mortal Kombat. It's bloody.
It's NetherRealm.
Yeah.
How many bad games has NetherRealm made? Remarkably few.
Yeah. And if we had been talking about this a few weeks back, there was controversy around some of the monetization practices that they backpedaled on.
Yeah, and the fact that you're getting a lot of good characters in the Combat Pass, yes, it is $50, but you are getting a lot of characters that normally run about $10 anyway, so whatever.
Yeah, and they've adjusted some of the value proposition on some of these things where it was reported on that it was not the best deal. Mm-hmm. Well, they went, oh, you're right, and they reversed it.
Yeah, like the fact that I can play as the Jean-Claude Van Damme version of Johnny Cage. I can play as Omni-Man from Invincible. That's friggin' cool. I'm going to get to play as Peacemaker at some point. So I can have John Cena get ripped apart by Omni-Man. All right, I'm in. And it's great. I've loved Mortal Kombat since 1992. I grew up on this game in the arcades. And the fact that they're doing a complete reboot of the series, That's pretty cool. I'm very happy to see what NetherRealm does. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this game in the competitive fighting scene. So, friggin' awesome. Next game I want to talk about, again, what more can I say about this? This one fighting game of the year, Street Fighter VI. Accessibility options out the butt. They tried a lot of different things. It's Street Fighter. Street Fighter is back, baby. I like Street Fighter V, but I didn't love it. Street Fighter IV was my game. Street Fighter VI does everything that it needs to do right. Fantastic roster of characters. The fact that you can make your own dudes. It's cool. I'm in. Awesome. So Capcom, yet another winner here. Can't deny it. And yet another game that requires no introduction. Resident Evil 4. Nominated for multiple things at the Game Awards. Unfortunately didn't win anything. Just had some DLC drop with it within the last couple of months. One of the best action games to come out of the GameCube era, the PlayStation 2, to get a full-on remake like Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 3. Capcom has already said, which one do you want to see next? You want to see Resident Evil 1 remade that was done on the GameCube? Do you want to see Code Veronica done? Do you want to see Resident Evil 5 redone? I don't care. I want more Resident Evil. Even if it's just remakes until we get caught up. Hell, I would love to see Operation Raccoon City redone in some capacity. And I liked that game. And that was a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 game that was kind of hit or miss. But I love the idea of playing as Umbrella counter-terrorist operatives who weren't really good guys. And then,
that's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, they were kind of jerks. Let's own that. And Resident Evil 4 also has like a VR mode. We don't have virtual reality headsets, or at least Alex does. It's in a closet somewhere.
I have it. I have the
Meta Quest or
the
something?
Meta Quest 3 is out. I have the 2, which is still the baseline for things. So I still activate games on it. I just haven't had the time to set up and work with it yet, but I'm planning on this holiday season to be checking things out.
And then the final thing that I want to talk about to close out the show, we got sent this a little bit early, and I had a little bit of trouble reviewing it, only because it doesn't fit my specific range of disability, but I have been talking with some of my friends in the disability community who live close to me, and that's the PlayStation Access Controller. This is Sony's attempt to make a controller for the differently abled community. And what it is a controller that can be placed on a flat surface or mounted to a wheelchair. There are things you can screw into it, and you can customize the buttons via these magnetic caps, and you can choose how to play it. Now, my friend Sharuk is a guy that I go to hockey with, and he has pretty severe CP. And I was asking him, could you use this? And while he was able to communicate with me in the way that he can, he's like, not really, but it's a good attempt. But there are other reviewers on GameSpot and IGN who have a different range of disabilities that I don't. They were able to really see what this thing can do.
And down the line, in a similar realm to what has happened over the last few years, because remember, Xbox had theirs come out first. Yep. Since then, there have been third-party, both from name companies and also from medical device companies, that have made attachments that can then customize it. So as a base, while Sharuk may not be able to use it as is, there's not to say that somebody won't
give it a few months.
Won't craft something specifically. The idea is it can be crafted specifically to that person.
Yes.
And you can add an attachment later on.
Yeah, because I think Logitech has something coming out in January for this controller specifically, where they add trigger buttons and haptic feedback and all that shit.
I saw like one of them looked like it was a pedal where if you maybe only have the use of one hand, you can do most stuff with one hand, and stuff that would be done with the right hand can be used by your feet.
Yeah, like there's like, it's astonishing what the adaptive community can really do with stuff. And I think Sony has definitely made a stronger stride than Xbox, because their controller, I look at it and I go kind of cross-eyed because I don't get it. But when I held the Access controller in my hand, I see how this works. And while you and I were talking about how do I even approach this, because this is not something I necessarily get because I don't have this range of disability, you brought up something excellent to me. You said this would be perfect for stuff like Final Fantasy, for anything side-scrolly.
For somebody who maybe has limited range of motion, the kind of games that you play, you're playing very twitchy first-person shooters and stuff, you might need an additional adaptive device to plug into this.
Yes, because you can daisy chain these
which this gives you the option to do that you couldn't do traditionally previously.
Yeah.
So that out of the box might not work for you. But if you're somebody who has had a limited ability to play any game, regardless of what it was, but you're somebody who just wants to experience like a visual novel where it's choose your own adventure, or a traditional point and click game like a Sierra, the old Sierra online games like King's Quest, or a strategy game, a turn-based strategy, things where you have a hard time. Maybe,
you could do Persona on this realistically.
Yes. And exactly. Something that's turn-based where you're not beholden to very fast motions, and you can adapt things within certain games to like make it button presses. So think about this. Maybe you have the ability, you can press buttons and stuff, but even the one where it's like hold this button for an extended period of time, you can change that. Instead of the quick button presses, you can switch it to press and hold. Well, maybe pressing and holding with your thumb or your index finger is too difficult on a small space like that because you don't have the range of motion to hold it in place that length of time. Well, the buttons are pretty darn big on this thing that it could literally be, okay, switch it to the press and hold method, and then you just rest your fist on it.
Yeah, like there are so many options to adapt this thing, and I'm 99% sure I've heard people say they've beaten Spider-Man 2 with this controller.
And I guarantee you there are going to be people that do Persona. Final Fantasy VII might be a little more difficult, the new run, but you could do classic Final Fantasy. You could do you could even do RTSs.
I guarantee you, Alex, I will make this prediction now. There's going to be somebody out of the disability community who comes out just as good as a Twitch shooter kid for some esports team.
Well, not even that. You're probably going to see people with both the Xbox, but specifically the PlayStation one because of the install base of the consoles. You're going to see people that are disabled gamers that become very big streamers and competitive in Fortnite.
Yes, or fighting games.
Yes,
give it time.
They'll have it set up, and this will. What this does is it also standardizes things.
Yes.
Where before for tournaments, the argument could be made, well, you've got a custom controller that nobody else. You have an advantage, even though realistically you don't have an advantage because you need it. But the idea will be, okay, this is a certified controller, and you could have tournaments for people that are differently abled, where they all have a baseline controller that they can all use, and they can actually compete with each other, but against standard players using regular controllers as is too.
Yeah, because I want to say there was a kid who played COD who was very limited sight. I know there's a blind Mortal Kombat player, and he destroyed kids.
So what this is going to do, I think, in the realm that you like, is for online sports leagues and competitive play. What this does is this removes the excuse of, well, you can't use custom controllers.
Yeah.
This isn't custom.
This is standard.
This is a standardized league legal controller that is adaptive, that everybody who needs it can use it, and you're not doing things like hacking a controller. This is legit.
Yeah, like this is like, because I know with like Xbox, they didn't like third-party adaptations for certain things. Yeah, you're right. This is like, sorry, this is legal, made by Sony, and the tournament organizers, if they say no, you're going to look really damn dumb.
Yeah, they're going to go, okay, it's up to the same standard, everybody's base. And if you really want to make the argument of, well, you shouldn't be mixing controller types, then okay, then you make every player, regardless of their ability, use that accessible controller for that tournament.
Yeah. I think this is a wonderful device. So, again, thank you to Sony for sending this over. I wish I had more of an insight from that perspective, but from everything I've read, from everything I understand about this, and from my personal insights into the competitive community, this is frigging awesome. So guys, that's pretty much going to do it for this edition of the Holiday Gift Guide. We are going to have a late-breaking Santa's Workshop gets broken in like Die Hard on December 20th.
Oh God, we sweat, and we gotta be able to buy these things last minute. What do you mean Christmas is in a week? That's the edition of the show we'll do.
Oh my God, I'll make you something fun for that. But yeah, guys, like honestly, again, if this is going to be one of the last shows of the year, this is going to be one of the last shows me and Alice collaborate on this year. We do have a Christmas special one planned.
It'll certainly be the last one we recorded together, and the only one we recorded together in person.
Yeah, like we're going to talk about, me and Alice, we're still planning it, but we're going to record it the week of this review show. You'll have it out on Christmas Day, tentatively planned. We're going to look at some older sitcom Christmas specials, ones that you may not necessarily have heard of or might have missed, because you and I have watched a lot of TV over the years.
Yes, we have.
And it's not just Charlie Brown, it's not just Rankin Bass, it's not Frosty the fucking Snowman.
I mean, the last year we did the Nelvana one, that was the weird alien Christmas one. I'll find some other stuff but maybe more in the sitcom, because there are some terrible sitcoms from the late 80s, early 90s, the really sappy ones that have hilariously bad Christmas specials. Because I mean, we don't want to do like the Festivus for the rest. We want to do stuff that maybe people haven't heard of anymore or forgot. They're like, oh my god, I erased that from my memory because it was so terrible.
Yeah, like
I don't know off the top of my head, but maybe I forget. Was the Harry and the Henderson show? Did they have a Christmas special? Maybe we'll look at that.
Yeah.
Or Weird Science, or
oh my god, I'd love to do that.
Or what's the other one that was like that from that era? Weird Science, Harry and the Hendersons. Maybe. There's some other really terrible stuff from that time period. Like
Wings, Cheers.
Yeah, does Alf have a Christmas? I'm pretty sure.
I would be I see. Didn't that one end on Christmas? I'm not sure.
Alf, or what was the other one with Bobcat, with the puppet?
What?
Bobcat Goldthwait? Where
there was another Bobcat Goldthwait sitcom.
Yeah, the one where he played the puppet, and it had where it was the rip-off of Married with Children that was on for many years.
You are just blowing my mind because I have no idea what the fuck.
Happily Ever After, I think it was called.
Okay.
It ran for like 5 or 6 years.
Oh my god! Yeah.
And it's that they have a dust bunny that talks to them or something.
We are going to have a conversation.
Yes, we're going to have to look this up after. And for those of you that remember listening, you're going, Alex, why? Why did you make me remember this?
We remember it so we can torture you.
Yes, because torture, the best Christmas gift.
Ho, ho, ho. Now I have a machine gun.
Yes, we are sponsored by Mistress So-and-so's Sex Dungeon or something. Yes, torture, the best form of Christmas present.
Hey, it's the gift that keeps on giving as long as you can stand
it.
The
gift that keeps on giving until you say the safe word of, ow, stop. What did I say?
Oh, boy. So, guys.
The safe word was cucumber.
So I'm really glad that you've joined us this year. I'm really glad to every company that has taken a risk on us, taken an opportunity to let us look at their stuff too, so we can share it with you. Like, our ideas and thoughts on these are our honest opinions, and some of the stuff I really want you guys to check out. There's some really cool movies in here, some games I really hope you'll play. I hope I've inspired one of you this year to pick up something Transformers related. This has been my franchise for years. It's really brought me a lot of joy this year. I'm really hoping to share that with you. And Alex has opened my eyes up to so many RPGs this year that I'm going to start playing. Literally, one of the things we didn't get to talk about during the show, we didn't get a review copy, but we both have a copy of this game, we just haven't played it yet, is Mario RPG. So I'm firing that up when we're done. So anyway, guys, just thank you. You guys have been wonderful to us. So we will be back with a couple of shows between now and the end of the year, but officially we are not back until January 22nd with a brand new live show with the weird news, the most unusual news, unless something really happens over the holidays that requires late breaking in. I'm sure I could drag my mic out of storage. I'm literally tempted to put this mic in a box, lock it, and give it to Blair and say, don't hand this to me for a month.
But we need to play online together.
That's fair. I'll figure it out. That's why we have Discord.
Yeah, it's like just set your work email to forward to Alex, and then I'll be like, why am I getting all your emails? But yes, you could do that if you wanted to. Please note, I'm out of the office. If you need to contact Alex because he has no life.
So anyway, guys, happy holidays, no matter how you celebrate it. I really hope you'll do something wonderful for your friends, your neighbors, a stranger. Times are tough. If you have a local toy drive that you can donate to, if you can if you can donate a little bit of your time to helping out a local food bank, a shelter. I will be doing stuff on Christmas Eve at one of the missions around here, because it's the right thing to do, especially in my city. We're suffering a particularly difficult time with homelessness and people that are underserviced. So that's how I'm going to give back this holiday season, and just because I want to help people, and that's what I want to do. So Alex, any closing words from you for this holiday season?
Just try your best to not be rude or mean to people. If you can't be nice to people, try not to be rude or mean during the time period, because people go through a lot during the holidays. There's a lot we're not going to get into going on, politics in both north and south of the border. Across the pond, there's not great things happening in the world. A lot of hate and just overall ugliness. Don't add to the ugliness, regardless of if you view this as a religious holiday or as a secular one or just as a time with family. Try your best just to stay positive, because it can be a depressing time of year because of just the weather and the the light going away, getting dark at 4 p.m. where we live. You know, so just if you can't think positively, don't think negatively. If that, as simple as and weird as that sounds, that can really help.
Yeah, it really can. So do your best to add some good into the world. Don't add anything ugly into it. So, guys, until next year for this edition of the Holiday Gift Guide, we have been
Alex, the producer.
I've been Mike, the Birdman, saying happy holidays, have a happy new year, and we'll catch you guys again real soon in some pre-recorded content here on ThisWeekInGeek.net.
Hey! If any of you are looking for any last-minute gift ideas for me, I have one. I like Frank Shirley, my boss, right here tonight. I want him brought from his happy holiday slumber over there on Melody Lane with all the other rich people, and I want him brought right here with a big ribbon on his head. And I want to look him straight in the eye, and I want to tell him what a cheap, lying, no-good, rotten, four-flushing, low-life, snake-licking, dirt-eating, inbred, overstuffed, ignorant, blood-sucking, dog-kissing, brainless, dickless, hopeless, heartless, fat-ass, bug-eyed, stiff-legged, spotty-lipped, worm-headed sack of monkey shit he is. Hallelujah! Holy shit! Where's the Tylenol?